Hi, today is Monday, May 28th, 2020, May 27th, 2023, 24. I'm trying to read an English article each day, and today the topic is how to find hidden cameras in an Airbnb, according to a security expert. This article is from the famous, prestigious newspaper company called the Washington Post. And let's start. Start with the plugged-in objects, then activate your phone's flashlight, a security consultant says, by Andrea Sachs. May 22nd, 2024 at 6 a.m. EDT. Following Airbnb's new rule banning security cameras inside rental properties, security expert Joe Losorsa demonstrated how to quickly scan for hidden devices. Video Joshua Carroll and the Washington Post. Over the December holidays, I was house and pet sitting on a lavender farm in Sequim, Washington, when I received a message from the owners. We peeked in on the girls tonight, and they look content. It read, pet sitting, house sitting. Travel better with news and tips and guides that make you feel like a local wherever you go. Feel like a local in your box Thursdays. Feel like a local. Feel like a local. The text was comforting, a reassurance that the three alpacas were doing well under my care, but it was also alarming. The couple were more than 1,000 miles away in Denver. I crept outside under the cover of darkness and searched the property for their proxy eyes. I didn't need a spy manual from a Cold War espionage film to find them. I located the security cameras fairly easily in the driveway and around the pack animals pen. Pack animal. What is a pack animal? I can imagine that the animals just pack together, right? Pack animals. Yeah, itchy in my right leg. So under the security of darkness, right? Under the security of darkness, under the cover of darkness, under the cover of darkness. Let's remember that. Under the cover of darkness. The online profile of the alpaca sitting house in Sequim clearly noted external camera monitoring the property. I read right over that line. However, some rental property cameras might be less conspicuous and more malicious, especially indoors. With the right clues, security experts say you can flush them out. You can flush the ferret out, flush out the ferrets, right? Flush them out. Right over that line. Some rental property cameras, it's a hyphen. Less conspicuous, malicious. Most people have somewhat exaggerated sense of what a bug or video device is. They think it's like the movies where it's extremely small and hidden behind something. That takes a lot of sophistication, a lot of technology, and a lot of resources, said Joe Losorsa, founder and president of Losorsa and Associates, a security consultancy firm that specializes in corporate counterespionage. The overwhelming majority of stuff out there is going to be commercially available devices. People are going to buy them off Amazon, eBay, Alibaba. To prove his point, Losorsa recently conducted a mock search for the Washington Post at a private home in the Raleigh area. The Marine Corps veteran, dressed in casual black and carried a mysterious suitcase filled with sophisticated equipment, even though all the gadgets he needed for the sweep fit in his back pocket. back pocket, right? Back pocket, front pocket, back pocket, sweep for the sweep fit. What to know about privacy laws? Homeowners and managers who rent through Airbnb and their platforms often rely on cameras in their absence. In most cases, their motivations are to safeguard their property, not exploiting the occupants. Most people are utilizing cameras to make sure there are no parties or people stealing things or unauthorized guests or pets, Lososa said. Even if you act responsibly, the idea of being watched can feel like a personal violation. The Truman Show experience can feel even creepier if you spent a portion of your trip unaware you were under surveillance. Each state and district of Columbia sets its own rules on covert recordings, though hidden cameras in rooms with an expectation of privacy, such as bedrooms, bathrooms, and changing rooms, are generally unlawful. The regulations governing what? Unlawful? The regulations governing surveillance devices in less revealing spaces are patchier, but patchy means unconfirmed, gray area, patch, right? But like a band-aid patch. But the major rental and homestay platforms have created universal policies that apply to all properties, regardless of location or local nodes or local codes. Feel like a local. Airbnb announced in March it had banned the use of indoor security cameras. Vrbo and trusted house sitters have similar policies. Previously, Airbnb permitted cameras in hallways, living rooms, and other common areas as long as the host disclosed the gadgets. Given the response from Airbnb and similar platforms in recently changing their policies, there must have been concerns in the frequency of people being surveilled or in instances involving surveillance activities, said Coben Zweifel-Keegan, managing director of the DC office of the International Association of Privacy Professionals. In short term, rental companies still allow cameras and smart technology outside for security purposes only. The host must note the presence and location of the devices online or in the welcoming materials.
So for the lights themselves, we do a test where we measure how much light output comes out of the lights. So we have this trailer that hooks onto the back of a car, and the sensors on the back of this trailer will tell you exactly how much light is coming out of every single light. And then you get all that data and you can tell which lights have rubber on them. So the lights are really important and they need to be bright. So to do that, we have another machine which uses dry soda, and it has somebody on the back with a lance, and they go from one light to...
Most people are utilizing cameras to make sure there are no parties or people stealing things or unauthorized guests or pets, Lososa said. Even if you act responsibly, the idea of being watched can feel like a personal violation. The Truman Show experience can feel even creepier if you spent a portion of your trip unaware you were under surveillance. Each state and district, right, have different codes. Previously, Airbnb permitted cameras in hallways, living rooms, and other common areas as long as the host disclosed the gadgets. Even the response from Airbnb and similar platforms in recently changing their policies, there must have been concerns in the frequency of people being surveilled or in instances involving surveillance activities, said Corbin Zeifel-Keegan. The short-term rental companies still allow cameras and smart technologies outside for security purposes only. The host must note the presence and location of the devices online or in the welcoming materials. La Sorsa said the more restrictive measures could push hosts to clandestine operation by a drug cartel, clandestinely record their guests inside the rental. But he said the likelihood of this is slim. For peace of mind, he recommends spending no more than 30 minutes inspecting your rental for devices. He said a basic understanding of camera operations and cell phone will do. Inspecting your rental for devices. He said a basic understanding of camera operations and a cell phone will do. You can find 99% of devices with knowledge and awareness, he said. A cell phone can go a long way. Can go clandestinely. There's a already known word that I encountered in a long time. Look for plugged-in household items. Our rental house had an overwhelming number of places to conceal a camera, in books, in musical instruments, in the eye of giraffe sculpture. But La Sorsa said these are not realistic hiding places because they don't have an enduring power source. Furniture and decorative items are much less of a concern because they would be battery operated, he said, and most battery operated devices only last a matter of hours. On the kitchen table, he displayed a sampling of more viable props for hiding cameras, some of which he bought online, a few that he built himself. The collection featured common household objects that would never raise suspicion, right? Raise concern, raise suspicion. Let's remember the expression. Raise suspicion. Such as a USB charger, a smoke detector, and a power strip. Even power strip. The objects all relied on a parasitic power source, such as an outlet and Wi-Fi to activate the camera tucked inside. Even outlet, power source, power strip. La Sorsa stepped outside while a videographer Josh Carroll and I hid the items around the house. We placed them in plain sight and within context, such as the Bluetooth speaker and the kitchen counter. Back inside, he immediately set to work, scanning the rooms for plugged-in appliances and accessories. However, since we were using his devices, he had a clear advantage. The first thing that caught my attention was the carbon monoxide detector plugged into the wall. It's a normal household item, but we don't know if it's legitimate, he said. It has power. It was added to the home. He zeroed in on another potentially doctored objects, the Bluetooth speaker on the kitchen counter, the alarm clock in the family room, the air freshener under the foyer table, air freshener under the foyer table. He glanced at the speakers surrounding the entertainment center, but missed them. Air freshener under the foyer table. Foyer, what's the difference between foyer, porch, entrance? Let's find out what the foyer is. Yeah, I know the foyer, entrance hall, or other open area in a building used by the public, especially a hotel or a theater. A foyer of the concert hall. What's the difference? So that's a foyer, right? Foyer. Foyer table, entrance to the door, like a porch. Foyer. Yeah. You got it? He missed them. There are several speakers, he said, which are probably legitimate for the TV room. Security expert Joe Lososas checks a suspicious Bluetooth speaker using a thermal detector attached to his phone. Andrea Sachs, the Washington Post. Yeah, I would like to have a thermal detector. Weird Wi-Fi connections. Lososas suggested checking the devices accessing internet in the rental home by using a free app such as Airport Utility, which manages and displays Wi-Fi networks. To demonstrate, he stood by the carbon monoxide detector and scanned the list of connections on his phone. The homeowner's Netgear network appeared, but so did several outliers that contained a gobbledygook of letters and numbers such as G4196337LG WMW. The jig was up, right? The jig was up. Gobbledygook. All Greek to me, right? Gobbledygook. What did you do? You fucked the job. You fucked up the job. Gobbledygook. All Greeks to me. Uncipherable. The jig was up. Gobbledygook. Why would a carbon monoxide detector have Wi-Fi, he said. There again is a telltale sign that it's more than what it appears to be. Well, in Korea we use the many Wi-Fi things called IoT. So it's not alarming in Korea. Mysterious QR codes and the flashlight test. After identifying dubious objects, Lososa performed several investigative procedures that would confirm or deny the presence of hidden cameras. He unplugged the items and turned them over, looking for a mysterious QR code. This isn't a manufacturer's sticker with a serial number that you are going to register with the company for a warranty, he said. So what is the purpose of this? The QR is to connect the Wi-Fi to the apps. To confirm his suspicions, he pulled out his cell phone flashlight. He waved the light over the face of the alarm clock and noticed a glimmer inside a tiny hole left of the time display. As I move the light around, it's glistening at me, he said. And when I hold the light right in front of it, you can see a lens right there. I had to squint to see the lens that was barely larger than the period at the end of the sentence. Wow. For easier viewing, Lososa pulled out a radio frequency finder with a lens detector and aimed at the clock. It's going to alert you to the lens that's in there and confirm that it is a lens, he said as he peered through the viewfinder. A red light in the lens detector blinked, exposing the alarm clock's ulterior motives. A radio frequency and lens detector. Left, and thermal detector. Andrea Sachs, the Washington Post. That's good. I like the thermal detector. Radio frequency and thermal heat. If you need one more piece of proof to close the case, you could just use the same palm-size RF detector as Losorsa. The gadget, which costs from $20 to hundreds of dollars, determines the object's radio frequency output. It will recognize RF energy from 20 MHz to 6 MHz, which is a blessing and a curse, which is both a blessing and a curse, a blessing and curse, a blessing and curse. Raise concern, raise suspicion. Nearly every type of electronic device, cell phones, walkie-talkies, baby monitors, Bluetooth speakers, hidden cameras, transmits radio frequency. But if you remove or unplug all the competing gadgets and the RF count is still high, you can assume a surveillance camera is in your midst. In your midst. What is midst? I think mid, like middle, right? Midst. Let's find that out. Maybe this article was written by, I don't know, some esoteric guy. Midst. Happening in the middle of a period of time, location of something surrounded by other things, occurring during particular circumstances, middle point of a whole, in the middle, among, during. Midst is a space, Western audio drama podcast. A more surefire test is to use a thermal detector, about $250, to gauge the amount of heat the suspected item emits. Hidden cameras are cauldrons, apparently. Losorsa affixed an infrared which resembled a doll-sized digital camera to his phone. For a baseline, he held it up to a legitimate smoke detector. The image on his screen was a cool green. When he positioned the gadget by the USB charger and air freshener, the blob burned bright red. The blob burned bright red. For the baseline, right? For where was it? For doll-sized camera to his phone to hold it up to legitimate smoke detector. For a baseline, that's good expression. For a baseline. There is a little bit of heat coming from some of the other plugged-in devices. Just a faint amount, he said, as he walked around the house with his phone aloft. But, as indicated on the device, the hottest point is clearly the unit that's plugged into the wall. So what would be suspicious, and we would further check. That would be suspicious, and we would further check that out and see why it's so hot. You find cameras, now what? If you uncover a hidden camera, security experts suggest unplugging the device or covering the lens with a towel. Do not remove the offending object. The hosts would accuse you of damaging their personal property. Report your violation to the rental platform if it's a minor transgression, or to local authorities if you discovered a camera in a sensitive area of the house, such as a bedroom or bathroom. Consider moving to a different property if you feel uncomfortable in your original accommodations. There's no reason that you should be forced to stay somewhere where you don't feel safe. Zyfer Keegan said, or where you don't feel like your privacy is respected. By Andrea Sachs. Andrea Sachs has written for travel since 2000. She has reported from nearby places such as Ellicott City, Maryland, MD, and the Jersey Shore, and from far-flung locations, the Jersey Shore, including Burma, Namibia, and Russia. Hey, Andrea, are you coming to Korea? If you do, please contact me. I'm an official tour guide who can speak good English. And we can work things out and make money by, I don't know, by guiding American tourists throughout Korea, like veterans or retired people. They would like to spend more money, explore both city and urban and rural environments. I I like to show the rural aspects of Korea so that they could enjoy leisure time and a lot of nice foods, fruits, nice people all together. Thanks, Andrea. Your article was very good. From this article, I decided to memorize search words or expressions as clandestiny, raise suspicion, for a baseline, uh, and the thermal detector, radio frequency, uh, mhm, four-year table. Four-year table. I looked that up. And midst, your midst, back pocket, front pocket, back pocket, sweep, fit, guests, pets, rental, house rental, gadgets, International Association privacy. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful Monday.